When I first met William Ellis, he was already 90 years old. Had the ability to recall events in his past life with a clarity of mind much brighter than my own. I was less than half of his age when we first met. William Ellis was born and raised along Florida's wild and pristine Ocklawaha River back at a time when the automobile had not yet even arrived. To Bill, the Ocklawaha was a magical, mystical, holy place. He told me it was created when a velvet ribbon fell from God's hair. Bill's best friend was old Doc Ziegler, a man revered in Putnam County to this very day as one of the very best can-do, will-do, old-timey physicians around. Bill liked to take Doc fishing on the Ocklawaha. He liked to take him underneath those low-hanging branches so he could reach up with an oar, bump a branch, get a water moccasin or two to fall out in the boat. He liked to watch Doc tiptoe around the gunnels of the boat till he could swat the snakes out with an oar. All the time he'd be laughing. He'd be going, "Oh, those are just those little copper-headed rattle water moccasins. They're not going to hurt you. They bite you. They're just going to make you a little sick." William Ellis, working his favorite fishing hole one morning, looks up on the bank, sees the biggest water moccasin he'd ever seen in his life. 8 feet long. Big around in the middle. It's the fattest part of your leg. So shiny, it looked like it didn't have any scales. Had a real pretty blue color to it. His first reaction was to draw his pistol. He cocked the hammer. He got ready to squeeze off around, and he thought, "Well, that snake ain't bothering nobody. It's just laying up there." So he uncocked the pistol and returned it to its holster, but he was still pretty curious about that snake, so he reached down the bottom of the boat, picked up one of those long cane poles, and he reached over and he poked that snake once or twice. The snake really didn't do that much, so with the tip of the cane pole, he ran it down the back of the snake. He did it once. Did it twice. Now, the third time he did it, the snake rolled over. Yeah, and he rubbed the belly of the snake with that thing. When he went home that night, he could hardly sleep, thinking about the curious events of the day, so the next day when he went back there, and every day thereafter, that snake be laying up there in the bank, he'd pick up a cane pole, he'd start rubbing its back, snake would roll over, he'd rub its belly. He did this each day to get a little closer, and a little closer. Until one day, William Ellis could actually walk up to that snake, and with his bare hands, he could rub the back of that snake till it rolled over. He could rub its belly. It wasn't long after that before he could hand feed it with brim and shell cracker. Yeah, I know the story conjures up a disbeliever or two, so let me set the record straight once and for all. Back around the last turn of the century, word was out that you could catch 25-pound bass out of the Ocklawaha. A whole bunch of them Yankee boys came down to get in on the bass busting action. Who they hired to be their guide? William Ellis. Wasn't anybody who knew that river any better than Bill. He'd float those good old boys past his favorite fishing hole. That big snake would be laying up there in the bank. He'd go, "Whoo! Look at that! Look at that giant water moccasin laying up there. Why, I bet you boys $10 I can go up there and pet that snake with my bare hand." There was no shortage of Yankee boys willing to give up $10 to see some dumb Southern boy get bit by a giant water moccasin. And some of those $10 bills are out there to this very day to verify the fact that William Ellis could indeed walk up to that snake, rub its back, rub its belly. They could hand feed it with brim and shell cracker. Happened so often, all the local boys at Neon Leon's bait and tackle shop started to refer to William Ellis as old $10 bill. Now, William Ellis believed God created this earth. Every plant and animal put here by God had the right to be here. He believed mankind had no right to interfere with the laws of God and the laws of nature. And one afternoon, he's floating past the spot where his old friend used to lay, and he sees him up there in the bank, but as he got closer, he felt the heaviness fall across his heart. Apparently, somebody had walked up to that snake, perhaps just the way Bill had done so many times before, but instead of reaching down to rub its back, blew its head off with a shotgun, leaving its remains to wither right there on that same sacred ground, where one of God's beasts, one of God's men, had found such remarkable friendship. Bill's body was riddled with emotion. He felt pain, anger, instantly contemplated revenge. No one ever came forward to accept responsibility for killing that snake. It was a long time before Bill wanted to go anywhere near that spot again, but one afternoon he had the strangest calling. As he drifted that old paint flake skiff of his past the spot where his friend used to, he looked up there on the bank and he saw 12 small water moccasins, each about this long, laying right up there in that same place where his old friend used to lay. He eased the boat over to the bank. He silently slipped the anchor into the water. William Ellis reached down into the bottom of the boat, picked up one of those long cane poles, and to his amazement, he was able to rub the backs of each one of those little water moccasins. Each one of those little water moccasins rolled over. William Ellis was astonished. He returned the cane pole to the bottom of the boat, started pulling the anchor, got snagged on something. He drew it closer to the surface of the water. He could see attached to the anchor there was the body of a man so badly decomposed he couldn't tell who it was. But he sure could tell that the man's body was covered with the bites of small water moccasins. Still clenched in the man's right hand was a chrome-plated double-barrel 12-gauge shotgun. William Ellis just cut the anchor loose, fired up that old paint flake skiff of his. Great wash beamings falling over the Ocklawaha. Great blue heron glides across the bow, and William Ellis is at home now, and he's thinking, the Lord sure does work in mysterious ways.